suggestion, psychology, misdirection, and showmanship. I achieve all the results you'll see through a varied mixture of those techniques. At no point are actors or stooges used in this show. I thought it would be fun to teach somebody else my skills for a small charge. Look at that, just giving a little something back. We just do it for the faces on the children. What's your name?
Marie.
Marie, okay, now I think you'll be brilliant at this. Come over here. All right, you're going to read someone's mind. It's 5p. Are you happy to do this? Yeah. Okay, 5p, please. Thank you very much. You need someone's mind to read? Guy there with the hat? You two have never met before. You don't know each other. No, all right. I'm going to ask you to think of, do you have a password on your computer or something like that?
Yeah.
Are you happy for us to say what it is? You can always go and change it after. You haven't been asked to tell anybody what that is or anything like that, okay? Now I'm going to tell Marie how to do this. So I'm just going to ask you to sort of face the other way.
Yeah, sure.
Talk to these guys there. They're very chatty. All right. So you're going to say. You didn't hear any of that, did you? No. Good. Now you have to take control here. So just put your fingers up there. Is it just? It's not just a mix of random letters and things. Is it actually a word? Okay, great. Okay, tell him what you want him to do. You want him to repeat it in his head over and over again.
Keep repeating the word in your head over and over.
Now really send it to her. Imagine that you can just transmit it to Marie here, all right? So in your mind, you're screaming it at her. What letters feel right?
B.
Okay. Does that make sense? Does it begin with a B, or is there a B in it that's a prominent letter? Yep. Okay, great. You're doing well. Keep going.
I. N. G. The bird.
What, have you got an image at all? A picture or anything? Yeah. He's grinning, so I think you're close to right.
Yeah. Singing.
Like a bird singing.
Yeah.
Is that close? Are we close?
Songbird.
Is it something to do with the bird singing?
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah. Songbird.
Songbird?
Yeah.
That is your password, Songbird. Just straight out. Get away from that.
I was just walking by and I was just asked to come on and met this guy. The word just came into my head and I just can't believe it's true. I can't believe that's the word.
I don't know how that's done. That's what I'm saying.
All I did was just stand there with my fingers on his temples and just somehow, just by staring at him, it just suddenly popped into my head.
I was just like saying songbird in my head, songbird. That's just baffling.
I just can't believe it. I'm just so shocked. Really, I'm shocked.
We all get stuck in our belief systems, however sensible we think they are. To me, the New Age community is particularly guilty of not testing or challenging what it claims. And it was with this in mind that I invited a young woman to Epping Forest.
Just here?
Yeah. This is really nice here, isn't it?
Lovely.
Can I talk to you a bit about what your beliefs are in terms of spirituality? With something like Reiki or psychic healing or crystal healing, if you don't think it's just a question of you sort of buy into it and believe in it and then it sort of works because you're expecting to, if you think it genuinely is more than that, how do you sort of grasp that?
I've experienced crystal healing, I've experienced Reiki, which is using universal energy, which probably a lot of people would be very skeptical to believe in, and you know, but I'm basing my beliefs in facts, you know, and things that I have seen, how they've created a progress in my life or how things have shifted. I've seen this the results, you know.
Mm-hmm. There is something I'd like to try with you, and this is why I got you here specifically to talk about belief. And it uses an area of belief that, I don't know, maybe is less fashionable than some of the beliefs that have been adopted in our culture now as mainstream religion seems to be dying out. Would you stand up for me for a second?
Sure.
And just come round there, and just like that, just there for me. That's great. And take your hand, and just rest that there. Excellent. That's great, and you can just stay like that for a while I show you what this is. I'm going to show you something involving this, which is a doll. But the thing about this doll is that it doesn't, as it is, it doesn't have a soul. So we need to give it a soul for this to work. And that's what I'm going to do now by taking this. You happy if I use your ring for a second? Yeah. Mm-hmm. Excellent. Just allow that to sort of go floppy down there. That's great. Thank you. And the ring goes into the center here. And this makes it a soul for the doll. Just like that. Now it has a soul, and your soul, if you like. Stay there for a second for me. See, I just think it's interesting, for me, that we tend to believe what makes us feel good. If we decide that something is nice or makes us feel nice, that we decide that it's true. Which, you know, you could argue devalues the idea of truth terribly. Can you feel anything at the moment? What are you aware of?
My legs feel really heavy.
Can you move them? Can you move your feet? No?
I'm trying.
Yeah, it's interesting, you see? You can't move them. You can move your arms, yes?
Yeah.
Just flap your arms a bit for me, just do that, thank you. Just so you can see you can move them for a moment. And then watch. What happens now? Can you move your arms?
No.
You trying?
Yeah.
Okay, now look at me. This will be perfectly comfortable, all right? There's nothing unpleasant about this, perfectly comfortable. I want you to count. Just try and count all the way backwards from 10 to 0 for me, out loud.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2.
Let that close. Can you talk? See, for me, it's all about questioning, I think, and not taking things at face value. Like at the moment you can't speak, but the only reason why you can't speak is that you believe that you can't speak because of what I'm telling you. And the interesting thing is that if I tell you you can speak, all that does is give you permission to question that belief, and then you find that you can speak. Can't you? Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah. Because what we believe isn't necessarily real at any level. I mean, this certainly isn't, it's not even a real voodoo doll. You know, and even the real voodoo dolls were used for healing, not for putting curses on people. But what I did, I got you to invest in that belief, and one of the ways I got you to do that was by investing something of yourself in it, like your ring. Whereas in fact, there's nothing in there. There is no ring in there. I didn't put your ring in there. You know, your ring's still on your hand. Yeah?
How did that happen?
You alright?
I did see him taking the ring and putting it into the doll. I can't explain it. He asked me to start counting and I just couldn't open. I couldn't communicate. I just felt my feet and my legs become very, very heavy. As if they were just blending in with the ground, basically. It was a really bizarre feeling. When I actually looked down and I saw my ring on my finger, I could not believe it. And I still can't believe it right now. I don't know how that's happened. I feel really weird right now, actually. And I don't know if I'm going to be able to sleep tonight.
After the break, I entertain this lot and show you how I like to relax. A lot is said about children having stronger psychic ability because they're so unjaded and innocent. This excruciating view of children is generally expounded by people who think like children, and perhaps can be forgiven. Hello.
Yeah.
Very pleased to meet you.
And you?
Now, you know that your headmistress, Miss Davis, was going to come in here and just check that you were all going to be well behaved. She can't do that because, as many of you probably know, she can't be here today because her pants fell down earlier on. It's not funny. If you see her, don't make a fuss because it'll be embarrassing for her, okay? All right? It's not funny. In fact, perhaps the little boy at the back, if you'd like to give this back to her if you see her. Okay. If you can't be behaved, I'll have to give them back to her myself. Right, Amy, got something I'd like you to do, all right? I'm going to give you this, which is a story, okay? Now, this is a story that was written by my niece, Macy, who is 7, all right? It is rubbish. You're going to read that out loud, okay, a few times. And what's important as you do this is that you need, in your mind, to have a picture of something while you read it out loud. Now, it's a little bit complicated to think of something while you read out the story. But I want you now, as I talk to you, just to allow some image. And while you read the poem, read the story, to allow an image to form in your mind in front of you like that, sort of from the back of your mind to move forward. But I don't want it to be influenced by anything that's in the story itself, nor by the pictures on the outside. Does that make sense?
Yep.
All right, so, could you all come round here for me? Can I put some aprons on you and give you some paint? Okay, you're all sat very nicely, thank you for that. So listen very carefully so you all understand what we're going to do. Amy's going to read a story. You have to listen really carefully to the story while we do this. While she does that, you're all going to make a handprint picture on this big sheet of paper. And while you do it, no talking's allowed because you've ought to really listen to the story that Amy's talking to you about. All right? Off you go. Would you like to read for us, Amy?
Near the biggest tree that ever grew by the fence down by the duck pond lived a duck called Dan. He decided he hated yellow. I really hate my beak, it's unbearable. Boo-hoo, he'd sob. Everyone in the forest glade actually made Dan a red beak to wear, and he was happier. The end. Near the biggest tree that ever grew by the fence down by the duck pond lived a duck called Dan. He decided he hated yellow. I really hate my beak, it's unbearable. Boo-hoo, he'd sob. Everyone in the forest glade actually made Dan a red beak to wear, and he was happier. The end. Near the biggest tree that ever grew by the fence down by the duck pond.
Okay, stop, guys. Thank you very much indeed. Thank you, Amy. Thank you for reading that horrific story so many times. Thank you all, and very well done. You were brilliant. Just a second. Just stay there for me while I just talk to Amy. Shh. How you doing? Enjoy the story?
Yeah, fantastic.
Yeah, let's just show it to me for a second. While you were reading that out, you were focusing on an image, you were thinking of something
That's
in your
right.
head. All right. And obviously, just for the record, you hadn't told me what that was going to be or anything like that. That was just something you did as you were doing it. Was it in any way influenced by any of the things on this page?
No.
Not at all. It was just something out of nowhere and just in your head?
Yep.
There is no possible way that I could know what that is right now, is there?
Oh, I thought so, no?
Anything like that?
Well done.
Is that what you were thinking of?
Yeah.
Come with me. Let me show you this. This will take a little leap of faith on your part.
Okay.
All right? I realise that's just a massive brown paint. Just take a look at it as a whole. If for a moment we just ignore this corner here, which has all gone a bit wild and a bit mad. Just imagine
No,
that
I
over.
can see.
Can you see it?
That's slightly freaky.
2 legs, arm coming down there, and all that corner, there'll be another arm there, the body and the head, and there's even a face in there as well. It's a teddy bear.
That's freaky.
Well done, kids, you were brilliant!
Was it fluke for the children, or did they pick something up? I tried to think of something that I thought the children would be easily recognisable to them, and something fairly soft around the edges, really. So, and it was easy to think of. I have no idea what the connection was at all, and why some of the words were written big or spaced out. I don't understand what that's about.
Amy, thank you for doing that.
You're welcome.
You were a little bit freaked out by that, and you were asking how on earth it was done. And I'm going to do something I don't normally do, which is sort of explain a little bit of what went on there.
Brilliant.
You probably know this off by heart now.
Unfortunately, yes.
And you really said, you know, you don't feel anything in there was possibly giving away what you were thinking of, or you weren't influenced by anything in this, correct?
That's right.
Okay, so the drawings around the outside, nothing there that would suggest a teddy bear?
No.
No. Okay, apart from maybe, if you like, 3 of these are brown. The only thing there that isn't brown is this animal up here. If it were brown, it would probably look a little bit like a classic teddy bear pose. Perhaps.
Right.
Maybe. I don't know. You've also got the word unbearable right here in the centre, with the word bear there, right in the middle, maybe. Yeah. You've got a little bit here that says red beak to wear as part of the story. And you can see in red and beak, the K of the word beak, perhaps maybe suggesting an R sort of shape that would reflect the word wear there. So that could be a reflection of the word bear. And red, the R, they're looking a little bit like a T. Maybe that might suggest Ted, bear, perhaps. What about up at the top here? Big word at the top. The N of near could possibly look a little bit like a B, the way I've done that squiggle. Perhaps you could possibly be looking at the word bear there. How about this? Take the first letter of every line. T-E-D-D-Y-B-E-A-R. Teddy bear.
Yeah.
Yeah. Take the last letter. T-E-D-D-Y-B-E-A-R. The lines begin and end with the word teddy bear. You take a diagonal on that page. T-E-D-D-Y-B-E-A-R. T-E-D-D-Y-B-E-A-R. And if you go right down the centre, T-E-D-D-Y-B-E-A-R. And you were thinking of a teddy bear. You were absolutely superb.
That's fantastic.
You're fantastic with the kids. It was a real pleasure doing that with you and with your class. So thank you very much indeed.